make you a lot hungrier.
We are now, aren't you? We have a foodie panel.
We do. We have a foodie panel. Would you gentlemen come up?
Come on, Dan.
Hey, foodies.
Give it on up.
Pat Palmer will lead the panel.
This one's the good one. Always got to go with the good mic. I'm Pat Palmer from Hampton, Iowa, better known as the computer guy to some of you folks out there. Well, I scoured the globe looking for the best people to talk about. You can move that any way you want to.
He came up with us.
And the rest of them turned me down, but I got these two guys. So the story on this whole thing takes off where I left last time. I think it was May 9th we had this last time. And on the way home I thought, there are some people I need to follow. There are some internet, Twitter panhandlers out there that get all kinds of crap for free, and I want to plan a vacation around it. I want to just go somewhere. So I followed the three biggest panhandlers I knew out there. I followed IA Traveler. I followed Sarah, mom of 2. And I followed Michelle, Duggar, mom of 19. And so I followed these people, and later I talked to Jody, and she says, "You're doing it wrong." Because I thought if you just sent out a few tweets about going to Kansas City for a barbecue, that everyone should follow you, and they just lay the whole town out, and that didn't work. So what I did was, I was on K-Way Radio doing some stuff, and I heard they had a radio auction. And so I laid down $45 per room per night for me and my wife and a friend of mine and his wife. And we were going to Kansas City. And I didn't realize that this motel we were at had a wonderful marketing plan for people who were light sleepers, because they had hourly rates. And you know, they have the Power and Light District in Kansas City. This is in the Armpit District of Kansas City. And a lot of people coming and going all night at the motel. But anyway, on our way down, I told my wife and I told Mark, my friend Mark, who was anti-social media. Anytime he hears anything social media, he says, "Where'd you read that, on Face?" So anyway, he's out of the loop on the social media. His wife, Dawn, is tweeting, and we're checking into rest stops and checking on to Missouri and parts of this road and parts of that road. And my wife, who you need to follow, is at Becky in Iowa, and make sure you tattle if I say anything bad about her cooking. But anyway, we drove down, tweeted all over. We went to this first barbecue place in Kansas City, which reminded me of a West Memphis Waffle House. Everybody just screaming at everybody in that place. So went to another one, came back home, and that's where I met Christopher Juhl. Because we're still tweeting about our trip to Kansas City and all this barbecue, and Christopher says, "Why didn't you just try Jethro's in Des Moines?" So I said to my friend Mark, "You ever hear of Jethro's in Des Moines?" He says, "Where'd you read that? Face?" So, and his wife says, "No, we go there a lot, it's great." So we went there, and now there's no reason to go back to Kansas City for barbecue. So let me introduce to you Christopher Juhl. And Christopher does some work with Jethro's and some other places. And Phil James here is with us also, and he has done some work. The first that I knew about it was he did a little bit of work for Gusto Pizza. And I remember Michael Libby, he has the poll. He was 15th in line at Gusto Pizza and turned around and took a picture of about the next 4,000 people behind him. And part of that handiwork, I think, was towards Phil here. So I brought the two of the best guys in Des Moines that talk about restaurant social media, and they're here today, and they'll introduce themselves and tell a little bit about what they do. Christopher?
Boy, that's wide open. At best, I'm a novice social media guy. It's not my profession. I'm not a marketer by profession. I love doing it. I dove into it. My roommate is part owner of the Jethro's, and just by force of necessity, doing marketing and community relations and other sort of things, I said we need a I've been doing talks about Facebook and social media in higher education since about 2004 or 5 or so. because our students need to realize what they were doing and what not to do. And I realized that there was an option, there was an opportunity. It was a little bit before I met Phil, but I'd seen restaurants who had been using it. So I said, we need to jump in. So I'm just kind of a self-taught guy. You start walking in circles with people like Phil and other people in the audience here, and you start to find out ways to utilize it. And I just become fortunate. I always say I'm fortunate because I got a product that sells itself. But I love talking with other people, whether it's restaurant related or not restaurant related. It just happens to be that I've been in the restaurant industry for so many years that that's a little bit easier for me. So I'm not like a professional, but I do enjoy doing it. We all love doing it, and I think that's what's easy. Phil is one of the most aggressive social media restaurant people, and I love the stuff that he does. I learn from him every day. But again, that's how we all learn. We start to follow the people that we view to be experts and do good things in the area, and then I can share that with other people. Whether or not when I consult they want to listen to me or not, it's up to them. But I have, again, so that self-taught background, and it's just an enjoyment of mine.
And Phil has one of the best handles. It's named after my most favorite song. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, even the lactose intolerant ones. Anyway, good milkshake is Phil here.
So, yeah. It was back in I had 4 boys at home, and I was asking my 4-year-old at the time, he's now 5.5. I said, well, what should I name my company? And he said, well, because I was helping out a couple of food companies. And he said, you got to call it pizza. So I really like pizza. I can't call it pizza. I said, well, what else do you like? He said, I love milkshakes. And my 2-year-old in the other room goes, milkshake, good. So that's how I came up with the name of my company. A couple years ago, 7 years ago, my brother and I started up a coffee shop here in Des Moines called Mars Cafe. It's one of the proudest years of my life, but it was also very daunting. And one of the things we decided before we opened up is how are we going to reach out to people to basically come to an unsavory neighborhood and reach out to young people as well, because it's a very, it's in the proximity of Drake University. And so we came across MySpace. At the time, obviously MySpace is for bands now and not really for anybody else, but who else is on? Who still checks into MySpace? Anybody? Don't admit to that.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm only on Face these days. So we got all these people who basically just started adding people over and over and started having conversations with people as much as you could at that time on MySpace. And we had a lot of great response from that. And it kind of fed into this whole obsession that I had with really starting to engage people on a one-to-one basis online. And I really got to know some of the people that I became friends with on MySpace. A couple years later, this is after I had a career change and sold my half of the business. I came back and I had a little bit of a friend of mine, one of my best friends, Tony Lemo, owns a restaurant in town called Cafe de Scala. He came to me and said, well, Phil, what do you know about Twitter? I said, well, I know that the president's on it, and I know that 4, 5, 6 other people are on it. Is there a possibility of doing something with Twitter, with basically what you did with Mars Cafe? And I said, okay. So I started tweeting, and I started having conversations with people, and people thought I was Tony, and they still kind of do sometimes. But what I noticed that people were coming into the restaurant and talking to Tony and asking him, about a conversation they had with him on Twitter about, and Tony would just be, I don't really. He occasionally he jumps on there every once in a while and tweets, but the point is that there's a world of opportunity out there that I think a lot of restaurants are missing, and a lot of them are doing extremely well. One of the things that they do particularly well is sell stuff and talk about food and talk about deals and coupons and that sort of thing. But what people are really missing out on is really finding out what's inside people's heads, so that can drive your product, so that you you can make sure that you can listen to your customers and find out what exactly it is they want before they walk in the door. I call it shaking hands with people before they walk in the door. It's something that's that I just drill home into people that I think Josh Fleming, our friend back there, talks about using the fax machine effect of so many restaurants, and it's very easy to just lob, coupon deal after coupon deal, offer after offer, but it's much more difficult to put it into a conversation and actually engage people and get them thinking about your brand in a way that's interesting and unique. So anyway, that's.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. That's what we hired you for. Now, either one of you folks use Foursquare a lot? We have that in Hampton a lot, and what I'm trying to convince some of the business owners around there is when you start the new bar or you start the new restaurant, don't be the mayor of the damn thing. Let somebody else do that. I mean, you're offering the specials to somebody else.
Yes and no. Whenever there's an opening of Jeff Rose, I'm usually the mayor like 2 weeks before it opens, just because I want to get the word out. I want people to know that the location is coming, whatever some things are happening, the menu change, whatever the case might be. But I really try to tell the employees and I try to tell the managers, because I'm not there every day, don't let them become the mayor. Let somebody else engage. I can be honest with you, I've never convinced them, and I'm not a huge proponent of giving away mayor specials, but there are benefits and there are good ways to be able to do that. But people love it. People like getting points, love being mayor. I wanted to run a special like, if you were the mayor 1 month, the next month you could create the special. So not only were you the mayor, but now you're going to attract people to come in because your sandwich is the special for the month or whatever. Because again, it's the relationships, it's the individuals. Again and again and again, I tell people, don't retweet, don't, star or whatever else. Ask them a question back. Find out what's in their head. What could we be doing better? And at Jethro's, I get this a lot. What do you mean? We do it well already. Well, there's always something you can be doing better. And if we're not asking our customers, and again, Foursquare is a great way to, again, I don't do specials, I haven't been able to really get that going part of it, but people love it. So I think it's a great medium. Now, I don't know, does Mars does?
Well, I don't know about Mars.
Okay.
I'm not really associated with it. But I know that Cafe de Scala, over the last 2 years, have given away something close to 500 desserts. What we do is anybody that checks in, so if you want to go to Cafe de Scala and eat a meal, it's basically like getting $7 off for a really great homemade dessert. It's something when it first started, we were kind of the new kids on the block, one of the first people, I think, in Des Moines to offer a special. And what it's been able to do is, like I said, it's just giving somebody an extra bonus, an opportunity to have them engage with you, have people, it's a really cheap form of advertising. I mean, 7 times, obviously he's not spending $7 on each dessert. He's spending probably, I don't want to give away his trade secrets, but probably, a third of that.
A lot cheaper.
And the fact is that's a very cheap form of advertisement. So.
Now, do either one of you do anything with Foursquare or Facebook Places? That kind of came and went, and it's still there, but I'm not seeing it used as much for promotion.
I never have.
I tried with Cafe de Scala, didn't really work. I tried with Gusto. I tried with one of my other clients, and it hasn't really worked out particularly well. I don't know. Just people want to use Facebook for sort of. Facebook is much more personal. It's where people go to see baby pictures. They don't necessarily want to see a coupon for a free dessert. That's just maybe I'm wrong.
Well, and I really was thinking about it before the panel. I'm just interested. Like I'm not going to call any names out. I get really frustrated when I see restaurants that every day, same time, same medium, it's their special. It's no engagement. It's no other conversation. It's nothing else. It's just that. And I don't know, maybe people like that. Maybe we're doing something wrong. I don't know if the audience, is there something to the consistency of every day? I know at the same exact time, I'm going to get this restaurant's post about where it is. And that's all it is. I don't know if, again, I'm not kind of asking, but I'm not really asking. But, that's something I do, is that we engage. I'm much more, and I know Phil agrees with this too, is that it's more about the conversations we will have. You know, why didn't you just come to Jeffro's? I didn't mean it like that, 'cause there's great barbecue places in Kansas City, but it's much more than just, here's a coupon, come in. Well, wait a second, why didn't they come in? Well, idiot, you know, you didn't do anything to engage them and want them to come in.
Excuse me. Can I
Yes,
respond?
you betcha.
I just want to respond to a question. I think that if there's a mix of engagement, I think the cadence of having those specials every day, there's a coffee shop, secret after that, visit on a regular basis, and, you know, you get used to.
Which one is it?
Brutally.
Okay.
So you get used to looking for the one special every day, and that cadence is there, mixed with interaction.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
he's saying
I know
that
that.
there's more interaction than just plop, there's the menu.
Well, I know that Gusto, still to this day, they post their slice specials every day. Fong's Pizza in town does the same thing. It's been really effective for them, I know. And so, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with posting your special. I think if that's all you're doing, though, I think that's what Chris is trying to say, is that if that's all you're doing, is here's our special, we're not really doing anything else, you know, engaging with people, talking about anything interesting or important, then that kind of,
The potential there is
what's
so much.
yeah, right.
Anything else either one of you guys want to add about what you've done and about what might be on the horizon?
Well, I guess the first and most important thing is that, you know, I've used a lot of videos, and I've stressed the importance of blogging and all that stuff, but what's the most important thing is either hiring somebody who knows what they're doing to create a great brand presence for you. I always encourage people to talk to a professional advertising company or a professional graphic designer who understands the art of branding. It's really hard to convey a personality of a restaurant if you have no personality. So it's very important to find somebody who knows what they're doing first. From there, what I always do is I do a couple different things. Number one is I set up an editorial calendar for everything that I do for all my clients. And I get there, when I set up that calendar, I sit down with them and I have their input. So that it's just not me talking, it's actually their voice. I'm just sort of putting a platform out there for them. And really making sure that you're, number one, creating unique content, whether it's through blogs or videos, if you have that capability, or engaging in a way that's not just, you know, completely repetitive and boring. And, you know, but like I said, it's very important to have a nice base of really solid branding first. Without that, then, you know, it's going to be difficult for your business to, you know, convey much of a personality.
20 seconds, real quick. All I would say is do what you're doing, because I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I love feedback. If you've had a bad experience, I hope you would have addressed that within the restaurant or wherever you're located. But let us know what else you would like to see. So that helps us grow, and that, to be honest with you, it helps my managers understand that there's another level besides just posting at the same time. So bring the feedback. Keep it coming.
Okay, that's why I brought these two guys in to talk a little bit about restaurants. Give them a hand. At Christopher Juhl, at Phil K. James, and Pat Palmer, the computer guy, at Yanks Pat. So thank you very much. We gotta get our hugs.
Well, talk about food. It's gonna be hungry, you know. Maybe drink.
I'm thirsty.
You thirsty? You want a drink? Do you?
I want a cocktail.
You have to wait a little bit.